I would like to present a certain perspective from which the Mahakavyas can be seen, particularly the Ramayana, as presented and taught by the founder Acharya of ISKCON, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The Ramayana certainly is to be appreciated for its poetic value as the oldest Sanskrit epic poem. It also forms the basis for many of the traditional and modern Mahakavyas. But there are certain unique features of the Ramayana as a Vedic literature. This particular approach to Ramayana is presented by Srila Prabhupada in his writings. What do I mean by Vedic literature? Vedic literature is that which is revealed by God, the supreme absolute truth, in a descending process through the parampara system. The purpose of all Vedic literature is to know God. This is explained in the Bhagavad Gita as Vedaischa sarvair ahameva vedyaha. The Ramayana is also coming down in parampara from Brahma to Narada to Valmiki, as described in the Matsya Purana. Valmikinapi yat proktam Ramopakhyanam uttamam Brahmana abhihitam tacha Shatakoti pravistarat Ahritya Naradenaiva Valmikaya punah punaha Valmikinacha lokeshu Dharma kamartha sadhanam. There is also the account of the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra spoken by Valmiki, an account originally related by Lord Brahma in 1 billion verses, Shatakoti. That Ramayana was later summarized by Narada and related to Valmiki, who further presented it to mankind so that human beings could attain the goals of religiosity, sense gratification, and economic development. This is what is told in the Matsya Purana. The Ramayana is described as itihasa or authentic history. It is not mythology. The epics or the histories of Ramayana and Mahabharata, which are specifically recommended for the less intelligent class of people, are also accepted as Vedic literature because they are compiled in connection with the activities of the Supreme Lord. In the Hari Vamsha, it is stated that from the beginning to the end, Ramayana contains glorification of Lord Sri Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vede Ramayane Chaiva Purane Bharate Tatha Adav Ante Cha Madhye Cha Hari Sarvatra Giyate. In the Vedic literature, including the Ramayana, Puranas and Mahabharata, from the very beginning, Adav, to the end, Antecha, as well as within the middle, Madhyecha, only Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is explained. In the Chandogya Upanishad, the histories known as Itihasas have been accepted as the fifth Veda. Itihasa Puranam Panchamam Vedanam Vedam. The Puranas and Itihasas such as Ramayana and Mahabharata, generally known as histories, are mentioned as the fifth Veda. The Srimad Bhagavatam declares the authentic histories as the fifth Veda. Rig Yajus Sama Atharvakhya Vedas Chatvara Udhritaha Itihasa Puranam Cha Panchamo Veda Uchyate. The four divisions of the original sources of knowledge, the Vedas, were made separately, but the historical facts and authentic stories mentioned in the Itihasas and Puranas are called the fifth Veda. Srila Madhvacharya, commenting on the aphorism, Drishyate tu, Vedanta Sutra, quotes the Bhavishya Purana and declares there is no need to interpret the Ramayana because whatever is stated there is self-evident. Rigyajus Sama Atharvascha Bharatam Pancharatrakam Mula Ramayanam Chaiva Veda iti eva Shabditaha Puranani Chayaniha Vaishnavani Vido Viduhu Swata Pramanyam Etesham Natra Kinchit Vicharyate. The Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda and Atharvaveda, Mahabharata, Pancharatra and the original Ramayana are all considered Vedic literature. The Puranas such as the Brahma Vaivarta Purana, Naradiya Purana, Vishnu Purana and Bhagavata Purana are especially meant for Vaishnavas, are also Vedic literature. As such, whatever is stated within the Puranas, Mahabharata and Ramayana is self-evident. There is no need for interpretation. Vedic literature is compiled by liberated souls. A common man with 4 defects cannot compile the authoritative Vedic literature. The Chaitanya Charitamrita states, what are the 4 defects of a common man? Brahma, Pramada, Vipralipsa, Karanapatava, Arsha Vignya Vakye Nahi Dosha Eisaba. Mistakes, illusion, cheating and defective perception do not occur in the sayings of the authoritative sages. The great sage Valmiki, who is the author of Ramayana, is a liberated sage. Srila Prabhupada describes the history of the sage Valmiki. In the Satya Yuga, people were trained to meditate on Krishna. They used to live 100,000 of years, just like our limit is 100 years only. But in the Satya Yuga, the limit of living was 100,000 of years. And people would meditate. There are histories, just like Valmiki Muni, he meditated for 60,000 years. And then he wrote Ramayana. This Ramayana is not an ordinary book. Therefore, Ramayana is very popular in India. Before the appearance of Rama, he wrote the Ramayana containing all the activities of Lord Rama. So this Valmiki Muni used to plunder innocent men on the road, kill them and take everything. That was his business. But by chance he associated with Narad Muni and was rectified by him. This is the process. When a devotee meets even a dacoit like Valmiki, the dacoit becomes elevated. Narad Muni elevated so many fallen souls. So Valmiki was given this mantra, Rama. He could not chant. So therefore he was advised just the opposite, Mara. Mara means dead body. So, Mara, Rama, Rama. He chanted Mara, but it became Rama. So in this way he was initiated and he became a great sage. For 60,000 of years he meditated simply on Rama, 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 Rama. And when he was liberated, he wrote this Ramayana. So the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Rama, is a subject matter of Ramayana. Therefore, Rama is not an ordinary person. There are many instances described in the Ramayana which prove the supremacy of Lord Rama. Srila Prabhupada explains in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the personality of Godhead Sri Rama assumed the form of a human being and appeared on the earth for the purpose of doing some pleasing work for the demigods or the administrative personalities to maintain the order of the universe. Sometimes great demons and atheists like Ravana and Hiranyakashipu and many others become very famous due to advancing material civilization by the help of material science and other activities with a spirit of challenging the established order of the Supreme Lord. For example, the attempt to fly to other planets by material means is a challenge to the established order of the Lord. The conditions of each planet are different, and different classes of human beings are accommodated there for particular purposes mentioned in the codes of the Supreme Lord. But puffed up by tiny success in material advancement, sometimes the godless materialists challenge the existence of God. Ravana was one of them, and he wanted to deport ordinary men to the planet of Indra, or the heavenly planets, by material means without consideration of the necessary qualifications. He wanted a staircase to be built up directly reaching the heaven, so that people might not be required to undergo the routine of pious work necessary to enter that planet. He also wanted to perform other acts against the established rule of the Lord. He even challenged the authority of Sri Rama, the personality of Godhead, and kidnapped his wife Sita. Of course, Lord Rama came to chastise this atheist, answering the prayer and desire of the demigods. He therefore took up the challenge of Ravana, and the complete activity is the subject matter of the Ramayana. Because Lord Ramchandra was the personality of Godhead, he exhibited superhuman activities which no human being, including the materially advanced Ravana, could perform. Lord Ramachandra prepared a royal road on the Indian Ocean with stones that floated on the water. The modern scientists have done research in the area of weightlessness, but it is not possible to bring in weightlessness anywhere and everywhere. Because weightlessness is the creation of the Lord, by which he can make the gigantic planets fly and float in the air, Lord Ramachandra made the stones even within the earth to be weightless and prepared a stone bridge on the sea without any supporting pillar. That is the display of the power of God. Srila Prabhupada explains that Lord Rama is the Supreme Personality of Godhead on the authority of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Rama is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his brothers, namely Bharata, Lakshmana and Shatrughna, are his plenary expansions. All four brothers are Vishnu Tattva and were never ordinary human beings. There are many unscrupulous and ignorant commentators on Ramayana who present the younger brothers of Lord Ramachandra as ordinary living entities. But here in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the most authentic scripture on the science of Godhead, it is clearly stated that his brothers were his plenary expansions. Originally, Lord Ramachandra is the incarnation of Vasudeva. Lakshmana is the incarnation of Sankarshana. Bharata is the incarnation of Pradyumna, and Shatrughna is the incarnation of Aniruddha, expansions of the personality of Godhead. Lord Ramachandra is a full incarnation with 6 opulences in full, and he is therefore mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam as Kaleshaha, or master of all opulences. Srila Prabhupada describes the omnipotence of Lord Rama in the Srimad Bhagavatam as follows. One feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramachandra, is omnipotence. The Lord can act without regard to material impediments or inconveniences. But to prove that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and was not merely advertised as God or elected by popular vote, he constructed a wonderful bridge over the ocean. Nowadays, it has become fashionable to create some artificial God who performs no uncommon activities. A little magic will bewilder a foolish person into selecting an artificial God. And because he does not understand how powerful God is, Lord Ramachandra, however, constructed a bridge across the ocean with stone, making the stones float. This is proof of God's uncommon, wonderful power. Why should somebody be accepted as God without displaying extraordinary potency by doing something never to be done by any common man? We accept Lord Ramachandra as the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he constructed this bridge. There are many Ramayanas written by different people, some of which describe Rama as an ordinary person. But the Ramayana written by Valmiki is the proper description of the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Prabhupada clarifies this in the following excerpt from Bhagavatam. Modern Rakshasas posing as educationally advanced merely because they have doctorates, have tried to prove that Lord Ramachandra is not the Supreme Lord but an ordinary person. But those who are learned and spiritually advanced will never accept such notions. They will accept the descriptions of Lord Ramachandra and his activities only as presented by Tattvadarshis, those who know the absolute truth. Unless one is a Tattvadarshi in complete knowledge of the absolute truth, one cannot describe the activities of the personality of Godhead. Therefore, although there are many so-called Ramayanas or histories of Lord Ramachandra's activities, some of them are not actually authoritative. Sometimes Lord Ramachandra's activities are described in terms of one's own imagination, speculation, or material sentiments. But the characteristics of Lord Ramachandra should not be handled as something imaginary. Similarly, Sita Devi is Lakshmi, the transcendental goddess of fortune, and she is not an ordinary woman. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada explains, Lakshmi ji Sita is the internal potency of the Lord, is neither an ordinary woman nor the external potency incarnation of Durga. Durga is the external potency of the Lord, and she is associated with Lord Shiva. Sita is Lakshmi Devi, or the goddess of fortune, but she is never to be enjoyed by any living being. She is meant for being worshipped by the living being along with her husband Sri Ramachandra. A materialistic man like Ravana does not understand this great truth, but on the contrary, he wants to snatch Sita Devi from the custody of Rama and thus incurs great miseries. The materialists who are after opulence and material prosperity may take lessons from the Ramayana that the policy of exploiting the nature of the Lord without acknowledging the supremacy of the Supreme Lord is a policy of Ravana. Ravana was very advanced materially, so much so that he turned his kingdom, Lanka, into pure gold or full material wealth. But because he did not recognize the supremacy of Lord Ramachandra and defied him by stealing his wife, Sita, Ravana was killed and all his opulence and power were destroyed. The form of Sita Devi is completely spiritual. It is described in the Kurma Purana that Ravana was not able to touch the actual form of Sita Devi. What Ravana stole was an illusory form of Sita Devi. This is explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sita Devi, the dearmost wife of the Supreme Lord Ramachandra, certainly has a spiritual form full of bliss. No one can see her with material eyes, for no materialist has such a power. To say nothing of touching Mother Sita, a person with material senses cannot even see her. When Ravana kidnapped her, he kidnapped only her material illusory form. As soon as Ravana arrived before Sita, she disappeared. Then, just to cheat Ravana, she sent an illusory material form. Quoting from the Kurma Purana, it is said in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sitaya aradhito vahnihi chaya sitam ajijanat tam jahara dashagrivaha Sita vahni puram gata pariksha samaye vahnim chaya Sita viveshasa vahnim Sitam samaniya tat purastad aninayat. When he was petitioned by Mother Sita, the fire god Agni brought forth an illusory form of Sita, and Ravana, who had 10 heads, kidnapped the false Sita. The original Sita then went to the abode of the fire god. When Lord Ramachandra tested the body of Sita, it was the false illusory Sita that entered the fire. At that time, the fire god brought the original Sita from his abode and delivered her to Lord Ramachandra. Srila Prabhupada explains in the Srimad Bhagavatam, incidents mentioned in the Vedic literatures such as the Puranas, Mahabharata and Ramayana are factual historical narrations that took place sometime in the past, although not in any chronological order. Sometimes historical facts, being instructive for ordinary men, were assorted without chronological reference. The subject matter of the Ramayana will remain ever fresh even after repeated readings because it contains the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Lord Sri Ramachandra. Srila Prabhupada explains this in the Srimad Bhagavatam as follows. There is a great difference between mundane stories, fiction or history and the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. The histories of the whole universe contain references to the pastimes of the incarnations of the Lord. The Ramayana, the Mahabharata and the Puranas are histories of bygone ages, recorded in connection with the pastimes of the incarnations of the Lord, and therefore remain fresh even after repeated readings. The difficulty for the modern man to accept descriptions of Ramayana as authentic is because the finer art of using weapons saturated with Vedic hymns is now lost. Srila Prabhupada explains in the Srimad Bhagavatam, gross military science is dependent on material weapons. But finer than that is the art of throwing the arrows saturated with Vedic hymns, which act more effectively than gross material weapons like machine guns or atomic bombs. The control is by Vedic mantras or the transcendental science of sound. It is said in the Ramayana that Maharaj Dasharatha, the father of Lord Sri Rama, used to control arrows by sound only. He could pierce his target with his arrow only by hearing the sound without seeing the object. Srila Prabhupada describes in a lecture given in Los Angeles on the Srimad Bhagavatam about the culture of disseminating transcendental knowledge based on the narrations of Ramayana that was prevalent in India about 100 years ago. Prabhupada says, in our childhood, we saw every village, every town, the transcendental knowledge was discussed. Any common man could speak about Ramayana and Mahabharata. And the system was that in the evening in the village, everyone would assemble in a place to hear the message from the Mahabharata and Ramayana, especially because these two books can be understood by the common man. Vedanta philosophy was not discussed. So, my maternal uncle's house was in the suburb of Calcutta, about 10 miles from our house. Sometimes we used to go there. In the evening, after taking their meals by 8 o'clock, people would go to a place, assemble and hear about Ramayana, Mahabharata. And they would discuss while coming home. They would go to bed thinking about Ramayana and Mahabharata. They'll sleep also thinking about Ramayana and Mahabharata. Yes, and dream also about Ramayana and Mahabharata. This was the system. Sada tad bhava bhavitaha. The gradual degradation of the culture of transcendental knowledge described by Prabhupada in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Even 50 years ago, the social structure of all Indians was so arranged that they would not read any literature that was not connected with the activities of the Lord. They would not play any drama not connected with the Lord. They would not organize a fair or ceremony not connected with the Lord. Nor would they visit a place that was not connected with the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, even the common man in a village would talk about Ramayana and Mahabharata, Gita and Bhagavata, even from his very childhood. But by the influence of the age of Kali, they have been dragged to the civilization of dogs and hogs, laboring for bread without any sense of transcendental knowledge. From the above mentioned perspective, the Ramayana is not just a Mahakavya, which is great poetry, but a transcendental literature meant for self-realization. Along with the appreciation of this great literature for its poetic value, if the reader is able to develop appreciation for the personality of Goddess Sri Ramachandra, then he can very easily attain self-realization and get liberation from material bondage. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.